Hello everyone, my name is Megan Pelt. I'm a manager on the digital sales team, and today I am joined by two wonderful guests to play a special game to our company. So starting us off, right over here we have Miguel. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Hi, hello everybody. My name's Miguel. I work in office admin / receptionist desk. So if you've ever called in or you had any sort of questions or help with anything, I probably helped you out at least once or twice. But today is not about me. Today we are here with our very special guest, Shaun. Shaun, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Shaun Conde. I'm a voice actor and other performing stuff, and I'm just super happy to be here and share some time with y'all.
Oh, so modest, Miguel. Just a voice actor. This is, of course, the voice of Genesis from Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, which Miguel is going to be guiding us through today. So Miguel, what is your journey today?
So we are actually going to be playing through Chapter 2 of Crisis Core, which coincidentally is where Genesis comes in. I personally am shocked. I know.
I know, wow.
I am very excited because Genesis is freaking fantastic, and I really like them. They are just lovely. So we get to share that with you all, and hopefully you enjoy what we got in store for you. So speaking of, Shaun, since you are here, I actually had a question for you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So I was hoping to ask, how did you start your career as a voice actor?
Ooh,
We're starting off with the difficult
I
question.
know. Yeah, we're gonna dive deep. I started out doing like musical theater. That's sort of what got me interested in performing in general. In probably around like 6th grade, 5th grade, something like that. I had a sibling who passed, and these really wonderful neighbors that lived across from us offered us tickets to this like community, like children's community production.
Oh my God.
And so our whole family went, and I don't remember this because my memory is legendarily bad. But I guess I went to my mom and I said, I want to do that. And so got into musical theater that way.
Yeah.
And with voiceover, I think it was sort of learning from friends that, you know, like when you grow up and you watch cartoons, you don't really think that there's people behind the voices. And then someone brought up, like, and this was before IMDb, if there was ever a time, like, you know, this guy, Jim Cummings, like, does all these characters that you like. And I was like, what? Oh my gosh, he's so awesome. Then there's this thing called voice acting.
Yeah.
And then like going to high school, and my high school teacher brought like somebody who knew about voice acting in to talk about it. That piqued my interest. So I started doing stuff. I'm from San Diego. So I started doing little things here and there in San Diego. And then eventually was like, okay, I want to start doing stuff up in LA. It's not too far away. So I had a couple of coaches. I started coaching with Richard Horvitz of like Invader Zim fame and like a zillion different other things.
Such
just
a good show.
the most delightful, wonderful man. It just teaches such a healthy way of acting.
Yeah.
And started going to like workshops and classes, and then got an agent and started doing it, and got some opportunities to work with y'all.
I know, we're so excited that you're here.
Yeah, very happy.
Well, thanks for having me.
And that's such a storied legacy too, especially the dedication from when you were in 6th grade. Like, you were committed to this from your childhood, and I think that's really commendable, especially because, I mean, personally speaking, when I was a kid, I don't think I had that much direction. Props to you.
It ended up being like a really safe place to be yourself. For those of you out there that are like struggling to find your people, go do theater. I just had my friend Cameron talk about this the other night. Was hanging out with some friends, and he was sort of struggling to find his group. And now, anytime he talks to younger people, he goes like, "Go check out theater. You can like backstage, admin, the actors. Like, you will find your tribe there. It's very accepting. It's filled with all sorts of strange, wonderful people, you know, of all walks of life." And I'm really thankful for that, because when you meet those different people, you expand your worldview. You know, sometimes you come into it, depending on what you've been taught or how you've been brought up, sort of maybe a little bit narrow-minded. And the more people you meet, the more you expand yourself and go, oh, maybe it isn't like that. And I need to hear from these people because I have not walked in their shoes. You know, tell me about your life. And it makes you a better actor because you learn how people work.
Yeah, you really do. You get a sense for other people's stories and what they might contribute to yourself as an actor. That's incredible.
Yeah, I have a sort of embarrassing story. I was working with all of these women at a theme park, and they were talking about catcalling. Now, I've never been catcalled, sadly, to no one's surprise, but I was like, that's not real. Like, that's something that happens in the cartoons, you know, like The Simpsons, or like, hey there, lady. You know, like it's always the guy in the hard hat with like a New Jersey or New York accent.
Yeah.
And they were all like, Shaun, it absolutely happens. And so they'd like sat me down and were like, here, like just a week ago, this man said this, you know, thing to me. And it was a big
was an
eye-opening thing because I had
moment.
never experienced that, and my experience is not necessarily reality. Humble, nice piece of humble pie for me, yeah.
Well, one thing I definitely want to say to our audience at home as you're watching through the stream, you may have already guessed because this is our typical style, but we are going to be interviewing our dear friend Genesis here throughout this gameplay. Miguel, I want to give you some props for a second because while we've been focusing on this deep tale behind Shaun's legacy, you've been crushing it. Look at you guys. You just dove right in.
You know, I'm really trying. I'm doing the best that I can, and we are moving forward, and we are still here. So
You're on a mission. You're already on a mission to go find Shaun's character. I see what you're up to.
I'm very much in a hurry. We haven't seen the star on stage,
You're
so to
doing
speak.
way better than I would. I could not focus on two things at the same time, so I would already be dead. We've gotten the game over screen.
Oh, don't worry, you're not off the hook. I have another question for you if you're ready. So, Shaun, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to nobody that you really are one of the nicest people that we have ever met. And I genuinely mean that. You are one of the nicest people that we've ever had the pleasure of working with. So how do you end up as one of the main antagonists? How did this happen? This specific role?
Well, first off, thank you for the kind words. And two, you all make it very easy. Because everybody here has been so kind. Like I think you definitely set, you know, a bar for your team and everyone you interact with. And maybe that's just like the vibe here at Square. I certainly hope, I mean, everybody I've run into has been absolutely wonderful. So, you know, other companies take note. So how did I become a villain?
Yes, I want to know.
Yeah, I've thought about this because I don't always play villains. I usually like goofier people. I don't know if you can tell, my face is very animated. I've done a lot of clowning stuff, and I'm just naturally, animated. But I think the reason I can do these villains, so the couple villains that I've played are sort of, I call them cat-like. They're sort of manipulative.
Oh, so
they're not
like a playful villain.
Yeah, they play with their food.
Okay,
They're not like the aggro.
No, they're not just all about evil.
Angry, and you know, I couldn't do that. It's take their time, really play with their food, and I think, and maybe I'm overthinking this, but I think maybe the reason I can do that, or it comes easier to me, is because that would be the shadow self of me. So for maybe those of you at home, there's like some psychology stuff that talks about, you know, like personality traits that you have, and then the shadow self being like the darker side of those things. So for me, like, I have a lot of empathy. People have called me an empath. That sounds mystical. It's not. It just means I'm usually pretty good at like picking up social cues. So I can pick up, like, if I'm around somebody who, you know, a friend who usually is one way, and I can just tell something's just the tiniest bit off, and I'll go, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, something's happening.
That makes sense.
You know, and so I think the shadow version of that. And so me naturally, like, I just want people to be happy. I want people to feel comfortable. Life's hard enough. Like, let's just lift each other up. So I think the shadow form of that would be, if I can sense how you feel, I can manipulate that.
I think it also makes sense too when you're
yeah.
genuinely a very pleasant person. You also know how you wouldn't want to be treated, and so you're kind of just channeling that, like, what would be the worst thing that somebody could do to me, and then channel it in that aspect.
That is
Yeah.
such a great answer. It's the exact
You get a
opposite.
therapy degree?
Look
You
at
get a
you. Yeah.
psychology
no.
minor? Yeah.
Saying yes for the sake of saying.
Yeah, there's nothing more gross than having somebody like you just be you. Don't try and like
To
work.
manipulate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just if you need something, just let me know and I'll do it.
So, piggybacking off of that, Megan's question. So I have another question for you, since we are working towards finding your superstar for the day.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of voicing Genesis for this title?
He's fun. I think as
He
an
is
actor,
fun.
villains have more fun because the writers usually give you way more to do. You're usually complicated.
Yes.
A lot of the times the protagonists, and I don't know Zach super well because for those of you at home, like when you come in and you do a voiceover, they really only tell you a little bit and then they'll inform you as you go. But it's sort of like, come in, okay, here's a little bit about him. Okay, we're doing lines.
Oh, so
And
you're
it's
getting
not-
just a picture, like an overarching picture of this person, and you are then building on it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then like they might inform you or you read a line and you go, oh, who is that? Or I don't know who.
I don't know who Zach is.
Yeah.
I don't know who this person
Yeah.
is.
I mean, the director, I believe, was Kirk Thornton, who's absolutely wonderful. Will educate you as you go, but you might like, why am I saying it? Why am I saying this? Like, oh, because you just killed his friend, or whatever the reason is. Yeah, and you're like, oh, that completely changes how and why I would be saying that, and then it changes the acting. So, a lot of the protagonists
Struggle.
in stories sometimes are complicated, but can be like the idealist or they don't always have a complicated, so morally gray.
Yeah.
And villains, usually by definition, are morally gray.
Yeah.
And the good ones aren't just like, I want to destroy the world because I can.
No, the good ones need to have a reason. They need to have some purpose to what their villainy is, what they're trying to achieve. Yeah.
And a really good villain, you can sort of go, oh, I get it. Like, you're going about it the wrong way. You shouldn't be burning down that village or, whatever.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
No.
Whatever you're doing, but like, I get it. And sort of going off psychology stuff, a lot of it comes from like being hurt, trying to prove something.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never let this happen to me again. And in order to do that, I will hurt others.
Interesting.
So it lets you play, and then, Genesis is just, he's not like angry. He's
cat-like.
Yeah, he's
cat-like.
fun.
He's
He's
fun.
fun.
He's cat-like. He's dynamic. There's more sides to him, which we won't reveal, but
In
you gotta
due
be
time.
careful. But
Yeah, and he definitely gets to maybe
He gets to play.
He gets to have an emotional breakdown maybe a little bit later. Maybe, who knows?
who's to say?
We'll
Pick
see.
up the game. You can find out first. But we will jump right in because speaking especially on antagonists and key antagonists, you've played a key antagonist in a Square Enix title before. haven't
Yeah.
You were Sheba in Neo: The World Ends With You.
Yeah.
So, Shaun, how do you compare those two roles to each other? Are they different? Or is there any comparisons on them? It's a complicated question, huh?
Yeah. Well, now I'm trying to remember like the full stories of everything, to compare them with each other.
Yeah.
I think Sheba. I mean, what do we do with spoilers? Do we?
Giving like a broad sense of how, when you were performing as Sheba versus
Okay.
how you've already said that Genesis is very playful. Did you feel the same way with Sheba, or did you feel like you had to be a little bit more
yeah.
strict with him? No, I could tell.
Yeah. He's like the ringleader.
Oh, yeah.
People of Shibuya, I've got some red hot news for you. He's just doing like announcements and sort of
Oh, you see him right from the beginning, yeah?
yeah, just having this huge big game going on. And I think, yeah, as the game goes along, you as the character sort of learn more about things, and Shiba might learn a little bit more about stuff too. So I think both characters' hearts are in the right place, and they go about it in an unhealthy way.
Yeah. They maybe don't act it out the way that they could probably healthily do so, but I understand.
No,
that.
serious therapy for if Shinra is giving out any sort of therapy pass, please.
Shinra, please. Miguel, are you, my friend, looking to us for assistance here on where to go?
Actually, yes. I didn't want to interrupt. I could use some help.
No, major respect for letting us work through that one. You are going to Angeal's mother's house, I believe.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you. I forgot how doors work, and I wasn't sure if I should knock or maybe run around in circles outside until they let me
just
in.
General politeness is to knock, Miguel.
Right. Makes sense.
But I think
Thank you.
Still so interesting, going back to your earlier point that you brought up, Sean, is like as we're watching Miguel play through as Zack just seems so directed on doing the right thing, finding out answers, and that's his focus. He's not thinking about anything else. So
Yeah, if it were like maybe a different timeline, you know, you could present Zack with this ultimatum of like what I don't know, what does he hold most dear?
right now, he holds his status as a soldier very dear. He's on a mission to follow in his mentor Angeal's footsteps and become first-class soldier. So right now, his career, his life with Shinra, I would say. I mean, am I wrong, Miguel? I feel like at this point, that would be his priority.
Yeah, no,
and that's
exactly.
His focus. It's very idealistic. It's very much he wants to be seen as a hero.
Yep. It's really admirable, especially it's why I like Zack so much. It's very much in a time. Oh, well, there's another character that we really enjoy.
We're teasing
that dramatic, dramatic.
Exactly.
We're almost there, Sean. We're almost there.
We got to see that nice hair,
Yeah.
moisturized.
That nice copper.
That jacket was amazing too.
So cool.
But you know, it's one of the nice things about Zack is he's just so hopeful and optimistic, and it's so pure. You know.
I think that's what I like a lot about the Final Fantasy, the ones that I've played at least, characters. It brings you into that hero motif of like, I want to make the world better, and I will do whatever it takes to do it. And here are my friends to help and support me along the way.
It's very nice. Speaking of Final Fantasy, if I may ask, what Final Fantasy games have you played? Are you a big Final Fantasy fan in general?
I love Final Fantasy. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's the music,
iconic.
it's the world, the character design. It's just fun. I've played 7, the original 7. I played the original. I think the original 10 was my first
good
one.
Taste, good taste.
That is a very good one. That's my personal favorite. So you're in good graces there.
I think that was PS2.
Oh yeah.
And had never, had heard about it and was like, okay, let me try this out. And it just ended up being so deep and fast, and I think playing Blitzball, I think is what it was called.
Blitzball. That was very notorious for many reasons.
And even the I don't remember Unalesca, that name being used a lot. And is it Simone or
Seymour?
Seymour, there we go. With the big blue hair. Yeah, so that was my first one that I played. And then the Final Fantasy VII one, the original.
Yeah.
I think just music-wise, and like when I was growing up, Final Fantasy VII. I didn't get to play it till like way later, but my 6th grade teacher like told us like, oh yeah, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII. We're like, You play Final Fantasy VII. You're so cool.
So this has come full circle for you. I mean, hopefully somewhere out there, your 6th grade teacher is like, yep, I
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm excited to eventually try Rebirth. After we were talking about earlier, after I beat not Reunion, but
Remake.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's no shame here. It's okay.
Yeah, because I tried it for a little bit and I was not good at it. So I need to go back and actually beat the first boss because I struggle.
no
My video game cred. But I've also beat Elden Ring, so
Yeah,
who
what
knows?
happened?
Yeah,
See, that is very impressive.
Yeah, I don't.
I haven't beaten Elden Ring.
But my favorite sort of is. Are we just asking Final Fantasy? Or are we asking like Square Enix?
Well, we can
overall?
move into that actually. If we're asking that next question of what is your favorite overall of all Square Enix brands and IPs, what would you
Okay.
answer?
Yeah.
The remake of it just came out recently. Can you take a guess?
I'm going to take a guess at Star Ocean.
No.
You're like, no. No.
Any guesses,
I
Miguel?
would say, I'm trying to think. I'm stumped. What
I
do you
don't
got?
know if y'all had did it this time, but it was definitely a partnership last time with another company.
Interesting. Oh, okay, yeah. So that might be why you're stumping us, because
Okay.
that would actually be Nintendo. If I'm thinking of the RPG,
Super Mario RPG.
That's right.
you
But it was with Square, right?
back in the original one, I think so. but
Okay,
that
'cause it
does
had,
not
like-
count for this answer.
Oh, okay.
It's still a very good
It
title,
counts.
though.
It is a good
Okay,
game.
because it had like a bunch of Final Fantasy references in
Yeah.
it. It
Yeah.
even said at the beginning, I think before it was Square Enix.
Yeah, Squaresoft, right? I think. I
think
might be
maybe.
wrong
Yeah.
there. So nobody come after me later. For
There,
this.
there was like a hidden boss, I think called Culex, which was like a Final Fantasy reference. or
Definitely a
something
huge
like
nod.
that.
It's very
It is
much
a
a classic.
classic.
Yeah.
It's
It's
very
a classic game.
And then the one that I bought, it's in my Steam library. You know, just
Yeah,
so many
in
I need
the-
to
in the
get
backlog,
through.
yeah.
Is Chrono Trigger.
Ooh, that's one of my personal
The
favorites.
music from
choice.
Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross.
Yeah.
It's
So
beautiful.
beautiful.
And that is like a crown jewel in our company's legacy. It really is. That series and just the music, it's very beloved. So we will accept that answer.
Oh, okay.
That one is yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've watched a playthrough of. Have you all ever like Awesome Games Done Quick or Summer
yeah,
Games Done Quick
I've
and
seen
all of that?
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah, love that.
I
Love
appreciate it, too.
supporting that, and watched a Chrono Trigger run of that, and was like, I need to do this. So it's on my list.
I hope you have some time for it because that is a very good title. But moving back into Crisis Core specifically, we're staying focused here as I just keep eyes on Miguel, who's doing a great job.
I'm trying, much like Zach, I was
Don't
trying to
be
be stubborn
nervous.
and get towards the warehouse, even though Sang told me, hey, you should go around. But I was very stubborn, and I'm learning my lesson now. There's no other way. I have to go.
I mean, Sean and I are just passengers on your journey. We just get to watch you do this, so no pressure. But Sean, putting pressure back on you specifically. Can you name 3 specific things about Crisis Core that you like? And why you like those 3 things?
So again, I have not played the game,
Yeah.
but I have watched parts of the game. I think I watched through the story. Like,
Yeah.
thankfully, people, will put that sort of stuff on YouTube, and then I've listened to some of the music.
Yeah.
So obviously, music.
Yes.
It just Final Fantasy music never misfires.
Never.
It's always amazing. It's great getting the music, and then like you're writing at home and. Just getting all these different motifs. I like the what would you call that? The slot machine.
Oh, yeah.
Is it sort of like it's like the version of the limit break, sort of, but you've got the slot machine.
Yeah, like how it rotates through when you're doing attacks during the gameplay.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool thing.
And then was this the first, or did Kingdom Hearts come before this? What was the first game
Kingdom
that
Hearts
had sort
did
of more
before
free
this.
movement as you fought?
I think technically it was Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Early
after that, Crisis
2000s,
Core.
Okay, because that was still pretty, pretty new. Because a
Yeah, it was
lot of it was,
revolutionary.
blink, 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 blink. You know,
Exactly that, with the noises and everything as
yeah.
well.
And now it's, moving around, getting to control it more, which then makes it harder for me. But it's so cool because it adds, it's much more dynamic.
It's
far as-
very engaging, which is really nice.
Yeah, then you're really having to dodge stuff and read enemies' moves. And
you lose track of them sometimes. Like, even just watching Miguel, I'm so proud of you for keeping track of them, because I would have probably been hit from behind doing that kind of moves.
Oh, I've been hit. I am fighting for my life out here, but it is a great time either way.
Miguel is determined to make this mission a success. Oh, Zach, come on, keep up.
so Miguel, you said your first one was 10, or?
Yes, so I played Final Fantasy VII initially. That's
Okay.
the first game I ever played. Loved it.
First
grew up
game you
with it.
ever played, like ever, or?
Square
On
Enix
the,
game?
Yeah, actually, on the PlayStation 1 Classic, like many other people who played it. And then I played Final Fantasy X. I love that game so much. I play it almost bi-yearly. I cry every time. Sometimes you just need a good cry. And so that's my go-to game when I want to cry.
Aww.
It's a
It's
good
very
game for
good.
that.
Yes. Actually, since we were talking about music, I actually
Yeah.
wanted to ask, were you...
It's not like you're doing 10 things.
I know, it's not
Right.
like you're trying to like stay alive
I'm
versus
trying
this
to
guy.
stay focused. Megan, why don't you go ahead? I think
Yeah, no, I'm happy to help you out because you're focused on getting
Hella
this.
gunner.
I know. Jeez, he's not giving you a break. But yeah, no, we do love to ask our guests questions about soundtracks specifically. So is there any, you've listened to the Crisis Core soundtrack, as you said. Is there a favorite from the soundtrack, a favorite song, or something that you find yourself listening to over and over again from it? I know.
I don't know if I know the names well enough from the...
That's
Even
fine.
from the
Yeah.
classic ones, I don't think I know the names. I just hear it and I go, oh. Or like I will associate it with a time in the game.
Oh, yeah.
So from like Final Fantasy VII,
Yeah.
it might be like, oh, this is the time where you're in Midgar. Here's a time where you're in... So I think when I eventually play this game, I will then associate.
You're going to message me and be like,
Yeah.
Megan, I have an answer for you.
Yeah.
All this time later.
But I was listening to it
Yeah.
when we were emailing each other,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of like interesting rock stuff sort of thrown into it to give it its own like distinct feel, with sort of the Final Fantasy VII motifs thrown in there.
That's why I have a lot of answers. I can help out with this one
Please
too.
do.
But yeah, I'm
Please
happy
do.
to jump in and share some personal stuff too. But for this soundtrack in particular, of course, The Price of Freedom, that's a classic. That one gets me emotional. But I think I really like, and just speaking on that rock element that you said, the Turks theme in this one, I think it's called Dark Soup for this title specifically. But they add just a grittier soundtrack to it that I
Okay.
love. And it just gets me hyped up for a work day when I'm listening to that. Nothing to do with the Shinra theme or anything, but it really does. It hits just like that extra layer of like, wow, this is just taking that classic soundtrack of the Turks theme and adding some extra spice to it. So
Oh, awesome.
I agree with you. It's that you don't have to know the names. It's just sometimes they'll come on your playlist when you're listening to Spotify or what have you, and I just get stuck on it.
Yeah.
Especially in traffic. As I'm stuck in traffic, I get stuck on soundtracks. Miguel, what about you? Do you have a favorite?
I really like, a lot of the music is just absolutely stellar.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the battle theme. It's funny because, I like a lot of the Crisis Core music, so I like the battle theme. I like, any Final Fantasy music is really great, but especially 7 and 10, since we were talking about that.
Oh,
I actually used to have a workout playlist, and Crisis Core music was on there. A lot of the battle music was on there.
Okay.
7 battle music was on there. It's just really great to get
The
a
victory
workout
fanfare.
in.
You finished.
I mean, hey, I would feel great. I do a run and that just goes.
You just feel so
smart.
accomplished afterwards.
I feel like we're getting close. I feel like we're close to where you
We're
are.
almost there.
We almost
Yeah,
there.
the 10 definitely had some like soothing. I remember some soothing ones like on the
Melodic
beach, and yeah.
I'm getting nervous. There's a
Uh-oh.
save point. We gotta be getting close. Oh,
Oh, wrong
hand.
hand.
It's still wrong hands.
I'm sending an email.
Genesis may be there.
And I actually didn't get to ask you last time. What is your favorite title that you played?
Oh, okay. If we're sticking to Square Enix, I mean, this is no secret. I was a Kingdom Hearts kid because I feel like maybe, but we will remind the audience that my older brother was actually the one that had the Final Fantasy games. So my house was very much that we had select games for the siblings, and his were the Final Fantasy games. So he had Final Fantasy Tactics, he had Final Fantasy VII, he played 10. I did get to play a little bit of it as a kid, but I was only allowed to watch him play. So,
There he is.
I'm just dramatically standing here.
just leaning in the sunlight, the rays just filling in.
It's now a who's prettiest fight.
What an entrance, just peacefully sitting there as we've been,
Again, like toying. Yeah.
he's got no place to be. He's just waiting for you to come find, with the red
So
gloves.
dramatic.
And that also like saves your voice as a voice actor because a lot of bad guys like yell a lot.
Yeah.
And it's nice that he doesn't.
No, he's very soft-spoken.
Yeah, thank goodness. 'Cause yelling for 4 hours is never any fun.
I'm sure that takes its toll.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, he's got the good lighting flowing in.
A little bit of yelling.
Yeah, you did yell.
Got that flair going on.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Hey, Zach, let's be friends.
Yeah, so much
so
drama.
This
The
all
lighting.
happens.
Almost reminds me of a telenovela.
Yeah.
The different camera angles, the slow motion.
No puede ser.
You gotta love, too, he's just going wide.
I see. You finally made your decision. I'll respect your wishes.
Also, can we just
friend.
praise their outfit in general? Like, the character design is so
Yeah.
chic.
It's always good.
It's perfect. I feel like this is something that somebody could wear on a runway.
They
Like,
could.
in general, just the model look.
On that side.
Well, especially Genesis. I like, that's not playing favorites just because you're here. It's also just because I feel like that coat is so signature. That red, you think of red in this game, in this franchise, and you think of Genesis.
It's great. I want that coat.
I want that coat too. I think all of us deserve that coat. Just effortlessly leaving the room.
Yeah, toying again. Can you really live on that side? And then just planting a little seed and then walking away. Now, a fun,
Yes.
a fun note, little bonus,
Yeah.
is with this. Actually, I think with both characters I did with Kirk Thornton and you all,
Yeah.
is I got the note several times. It's sounding too sexual. We need it it sounds like you're seducing.
Oh no.
We need you to.
I need you to back it down.
Tone it
Get
down
back
a
in
bit.
control. Back in
Yeah.
control.
Oh my goodness.
Because for Sheba, like people of Shibuya, I've got some red hot news for you. He's like, it's good. But especially this guy, because it's playful and he's
It's a fine
a
line.
little
It's a fine
flirty.
line.
It's a little flirty.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gotta be difficult, is especially when you're given that role of this is who this character is, but you have to walk that fine line of just playful, only playful.
Just a little bit.
All right, Sean, we found him.
Yay!
Yay, we did it.
So I'm gonna turn the attention back to our questions. Oh, I interrupted your victory fanfare.
No, it's okay.
So
There's
cruel.
more to come.
All right. So you are known for having a background in musical theater, and Genesis is very famously drawn to a story called Loveless. which is-
Loveless.
Yes,
By the
Loveless.
gift of the goddess, we seek it thus and take to the sky.
You are still so good at this. That's why you're the professional,
Very,
not
very
me.
good.
But so I have to ask, with that musical theater background, did you find yourself aligning more to this character once you found out that he had that theatrical side to him?
I think I'm naturally theatrical. I don't think I lend myself well to film. Because film is usually very,
Yes.
subtle, but my natural face is like making
Expressive.
big faces. When I, go to Target and I'm looking for something, like this is my thinking face.
Yeah.
And it looks like I'm disgusted and I have a lot of anger in me. And then like people will come by and look at me and go, oh, never mind, I'm not going to help him. He looks really angry.
Oh no.
So I'm, naturally pretty expressive. So I think, it just made it that much easier. And like, if you've done theater, you've been around those theater people who take themselves very seriously.
Oh, poor Miguel. Sorry.
You're getting hit by missiles.
It's just what I do.
That sort of like self-importance.
Yeah.
Which again comes from not feeling worthy, so you have to like build that up in order to feel like you belong.
So it's almost like negating an imposter syndrome. You have to overcome it by overstepping it, I guess.
Yeah, I see it for him. I mean, everybody's different, but for him, I see it as like, I need to show everyone that I have this confidence. So I'm really gonna oversell it. Because when I see those people in real life, I go, oh, you have no confidence. I mean, I'm not gonna say that to them.
No, I would hope not, especially not in Target, but.
That would definitely cause a lot of other
Pick some
conversations.
But like you are, there's some piece of you that's lacking that self-worth, and so you're putting on this mask of sort of self-aggrandizing in order to feel really big, But it comes from a place of like timid and hurt, and so like below that you feel that, and then that's where eventually the bad guys usually then the anger comes out. Because it finally gets confronted by the protagonist, and they have nowhere left to turn, and so then it sort of causes the psychological, like, you've pinned me in a corner, I can no longer deal with this emotionally, and I have nowhere else to take it out. I'm not going to take it out on me, I'm going to take it out on you. And then
You gotta lash. You gotta lash.
yeah, you lash out.
You lash out.
Yeah.
Look at you. You got 700 gil, Miguel.
Woohoo!
Don't spend it all in one
Burning
place.
a hole in your pocket.
Oh, he's so sad.
Something does not break.
No.
Oh.
Was that who?
Angeal's mother.
Yeah.
Who are we saying? Do we know who did that?
Uh-oh.
Do we think?
I'm not
I
giving it away.
Uh-oh. This does not look good for Angeal.
Oh.
Ooh.
Is that your idea of honor?
Again,
I like how we all just went silent. Like these moments. That's what's so great about
it's
Final
just so
Fantasy games.
engaging. Again, it's very telenovela-esque. You just want to see what's happening.
What's going on here?
We all just get sucked in and drawn into it, regardless of what we're doing here.
Live on that
Here we go.
That was good framing.
Hmm.
And he still has the best light of anyone in the
I feel like that's a rule. Just if Genesis is in the room, we have to have
He
the
has
best
to have the best
lighting, the
lighting.
best framing.
to a world that abhors you and I.
He's so dramatic.
All that awaits you
Shut up! I'm
is
warning
a
you!
somber morrow.
Oh,
No
there you
matter
go,
where,
Sean. Look
There
at
we
you.
go.
I don't see Sephiroth.
Actually,
today.
speaking of which, when it comes to great scenes of writing and in general framing, Sean, you are also, from what I hear, a writer and director yourself. So would you mind telling us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I've done a little bit of like theater directing here and there, but what I'm wanting to get into soon is a little bit more animation.
Ooh.
And I don't know if I can afford full animation, so I'm still researching, maybe like a motion comic where elements,
Oh.
of it move. I know, did you?
I'm so sorry, I didn't realize
This was
that.
such an intriguing. Oh
I
boy.
was just so engaged in the conversation.
I know. We were so invested in all this telenovela action.
Luckily,
It's
there's no
okay,
lives.
Nico,
You get
it's
to go
okay.
right back to it.
Woo! Anyway, please continue before I rudely interrupted you.
Yeah, so I've been screenwriting for a long time, more for fun, and I really enjoy it. I discovered that in college, in my senior year, which was pretty late.
No, I mean, hey,
Yeah, and
you found it. That's what matters.
Yeah, and it was such a weird, like, you spend
What
so much
about
time in
Miguel?
school writing
Yeah.
for things, and then I think I took a class, and they're like, oh, just write what you want. And it was such a, like, wait, I can write what I
I
want?
can take control.
I can, like, do whatever? And so really got into screenwriting, script writing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm developing some like smaller scripts, starting small with some like goofy stuff. I want to then build from there. So I'll be doing the writing, the directing of it. I then eventually want to be hiring voice actors
Yeah.
for it,
Oh, wow.
hiring animators, and then eventually get into longer form stuff. So start silly, and then I've got some more like gothic, sort of darker stuff that I want to explore. So yeah, I think as a director, just all the great directors that I've worked with for voiceover and theater and otherwise is they make it a safe place to play. And they go,
As it should be.
I hired you, you do your thing, and if we need to like pivot for the story, then I'll step in and go, hey, let's try it like this. You know?
No, but that's honestly so good. It should be that like welcoming and approachable atmosphere for you to be able to develop on the characters, or not completely change them, but still within that realm of be comfortable with it. So I think that's good, and I think that's good that you want to develop that for people on your own terms too, as a director yourself, and wanting to work in the animation sphere of having something like that you then have control over.
Yeah, I want to provide. I mean, I want to make this stuff, but I also want to be able to get not huge, but big enough to
support.
to like get other people, because it's like it's hard getting into voiceover.
It's extremely hard.
So at first, helping people, because I probably can't start union first, to start non-union and help people, and if they need help, like then getting into the union and like giving them advice and just being helpful, because it's confusing and hard, and any way we can make life easier for people, let's do it.
Yeah, because it's such a tough, and it can seem a very unapproachable industry for a lot of people. So I think that's great. That is incredible that you would be willing to provide your mentorship in that way, if I may. I'm calling you a mentor.
Well, and I've had great mentors, and so it's like you pay it forward, because nobody does it alone.
No, they really don't.
This like you couldn't even get a frame of this alone. It takes so many people to make something spectacular.
Oh yeah.
Even just
especially-
putting all this together today was a whole
It's a whole
shout
team
out over
effort.
there.
Shout out
Thank
to our esteemed
you.
producer Jordan, who is running the back end right now. So definitely a lot of people coming
Yeah.
together. Even like our international marketing teams, who I know you have friends with Marise, and all of our teams across the board. And it really is. It's like, I don't want to say like our family. It's just like so many pieces have touched this. I mean, we have office admin represented, we have sales represented, we have voice talent represented. So yeah. Oh, now I'm getting all emotional.
A lot of good
Breaking
work.
through to my cold heart.
Now, do you, when you finish the game, do you look for your
Every time.
name?
Every time.
You've got to. You've got
You
to.
just have to.
I think some of them, it could be like maybe 10 to 20 minutes into the credit. Final Fantasy 14 especially, it can be a while.
Yeah.
But we all do it. We all have that moment, or sometimes even the day of a launch for a game, we will be looking in there to see, oh, look, there we are, and to see, be excited with each other. Because it's such a thing, and we all congratulate each other internationally, so we are wholesome. We try to be wholesome.
Yeah, it's a huge milestone, and to see it, physicalized.
So something like Crisis Core 2, because I was here, Miguel, you were here for when Crisis Core launched, right?
I sure was.
Yeah, so, even that, I remember that was just around the 2022, I want to say. You're looking at me. I feel a lot of pressure right now to answer.
Oh,
I'm
no,
just kidding.
no. I'm
kidding.
listening to you. I can't
You
look at the
trust
screen
me.
because then I get distracted.
There's a
You're
lot going on,
trusting
so
me.
Yeah.
that's totally fair.
But yeah, when Crisis Core first launched in 2022, I remember that this was huge because after Remake, this was one of the bigger titles that I was really excited to be a part of. And yeah, Miguel was fairly new, not new, but new to me in our friendship and just knowing each other. And I just remember we're so excited to be able to celebrate Final Fantasy together. So.
Aww.
But I love celebrating with Miguel anyways. So.
Always happy to do so. There's a lot of
Always
good camaraderie
happy.
here, which is really nice.
You're almost beating Bahamut. Look at you.
I am trying my best. That is definitely for sure.
It is very distracting, isn't it, Sean? That's why I'm looking at you too.
Well, and again, that's why like I cannot play and talk at the same time because I would completely zone out. You would see the light leave my eyes, like a shark about to eat something that just turned black.
Just completely
And,
dilating.
Yeah, which
Ooh,
is why I
that's
can't
Miguel.
I can't play video games before bed because I just like lose all track of time. It's all of a sudden 2 a.m.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You're just sitting awake thinking about it.
Oh yeah, and then you've got to try and like shut your brain off
No, it's not possible.
from
There's
going
too
like,
much to think
but
about.
the next time I do this, and then I
You have to think about Genesis and lighting. You really do.
There's just so many factors, you know?
Oh, yay, Miguel!
Woohoo! We did it,
Hey,
gang.
grab.
So I think we definitely have time for one last question here to wrap us up.
Okay.
Because I think we're coming close to the end of chapter 2. I'm looking to you now, Miguel. But
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I think we're nearing the end.
So as somebody that's wanting to do so much and somebody who is a mentor in that space, would you have any tips if you could go back in time to when you were first starting out as a voice actor, anybody interested in getting into voice acting, what would your tips be for anyone aspiring to be in this space? I know. It's
Yeah.
a multi-layered question there. You are again.
That hair. I wish I had that hair.
I do too. I wish I had that shade of hair. That might be my next color.
That would be fun.
That would be-
You should do it.
Oh, the dramatics.
So lovely.
We have neither dreams nor honor.
We've completely run away from our topic because I can't blame
It's
any
just
one
so
of us who
distracting.
command attention.
See, yeah, even he's like,
Even Zach is
wow,
distracted.
look at him fly away. Advice that I would give so much.
Yeah.
Start if you're not located in LA, or even if you are, start locally. Start like it's great if you have been doing theater, other types of performing, because like even though performing is different, that
Yeah, that's distracting.
There's a lot happening on
that
screen right
escalated. I was like, this is so beautiful. Oh well, okay.
Beautiful feathers and then straight into not so fun.
Get practice.
Yes.
All performing is linked. It just shifts a little bit depending on what you're doing. So film is a little bit more subdued. Theater is a little bit bigger. Voiceover, you have to convey everything with your voice, but don't forget to physically move your voice a little bit.
Because it's very physically demanding, isn't it? I don't
Yeah.
know, a lot of people don't realize that about
Yeah,
voice
you
acting.
can't just like
Oh,
sit there and be angry. I mean, you can, but
Yeah.
you can hear it and go, that doesn't sound right. Like you have to physically.
Absolutely right.
And then once you've sort of have gotten better, then start taking like classes and workshops. And it's important to get to know people and build friendships and relationships.
Yeah.
And don't force it and like make it awkward. Just like lots of good people out there.
Yeah.
Be good to them.
And then
and-
they'll be kind back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trying to think of like specific voiceover stuff too that I've gotten that have been like gems. Character over voice, which is like something people say a lot, but like keep hammering that in. I had to rehear that recently. Voices are fun, but you need to connect with the character. The performance and the acting is so much more important because they might be listening to 100 people that sound maybe relatively the same if it's like a voice match or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're going to pick the person
That defines that character.
who connects. And when they listen to it, they go, oh, I feel that. I feel that anger. I feel that sadness. So, even if it's just your regular voice,
Yeah.
there are people that don't do character voices. If you don't do a character voice, you can still do voice acting,
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just raising your voice a little bit or deepening it a little bit. I haven't really
I
warmed up
mean,
my
you do it
voice.
so
but-
naturally. Like I've heard you shift into it multiple times, even during this stream, and it's incredible.
Thanks. Yeah, and be patient. Like I've been in it for years, and
Yeah.
I'm still feel like I'm figuring things out. So give yourself time. Do it because you like it
Yes.
and you enjoy it.
Not
Because
you
it
have
it
to.
might not ever become a full-time thing,
Right.
Hey, Zach.
but I do it because I love it.
That it is.
It's a fun way to express and again meet fun, incredible people. The world is so cool. For voice acting, there's usually not a lot of ego involved because nobody ever sees you, and a very small amount of people even care at all. So,
We care.
We definitely care, that's for sure.
so just be good to yourself and sort of going along the lines of what we've been talking about, like make sure you're in a healthy place. Because if you're dealing with a lot of like your own emotional stuff, you can't truly
dedicate that.
focus, on character. Don't feel like you have to use your angst to feed that into a character. Like it's pretend. It don't.
It's not healthy to actually take your own personal feelings and apply it in a job position. That 100%
Yeah,
makes sense.
deal
That is
with
very
that
good advice.
stuff. Get to a
Deal
good
with it so that you
place.
can actually fake it.
Exactly.
There we go. Put it on a shirt.
Deal with it so you can fake it. Professional advice. All right. Well, I will say that I think that the Shinra corporate office is probably a good place for us little Shinra employees to end.
I kept running around in circles because I just really admired the building. I like the design.
Look at this decor
It is a nice office building.
is.
Look at that.
Honestly,
Look at that table. Look
and the
at that.
view.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous.
That Mako green in the distance. Ah, the corporate might. But yes, I do think that this is definitely a good place for us to end. So again, I want to give a round of thank yous to a few people. We've already mentioned them, but of course, stream producer Jordan, who is recording this for us right now. Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Shout out to digital sales team, office admin teams for letting us borrow Miguel here, our wonderful co-host.
There you go.
Always happy to be here.
Sean, of course, thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you
Yeah,
for
thank you
having
so
me.
much,
It's a
Sean.
delight.
Genesis himself, and then of course our international marketing team, so Birchin, Marise, Mariko-san, thank you all very much for your help with this, and we hope you all pick up this game and enjoy it.
And Megan.
No, come
Come
on.
on.
Megan, of
Megan.
course, we gotta give props to Megan, of
Aw.
course.
All right, bye everybody.